Hi everyone, my name is Julia and I'm an English tutor. I've been teaching English for 5 years. A lot of people came across the situation and a lot of my students constantly tell me why I study English, I understand everything but I still can't speak. Unfortunately, it's quite a common problem, and today I will provide some piece of advice how to avoid this. When we learn language, we have two different ways how we learn it. First of all, we consume information. For example, when we listen, when we read, when we watch some movies, we consume and learn some new words, some phrases, adapt to pronunciation. And second, it's when we produce what we learned. And produce we can with writing and speaking. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they are just focused only on listening and reading, and they ignore necessity of speaking and writing and other things. That's why they mainly just only focus on listening some audiobooks, watching some TV shows, learning vocabulary. Of course, if you practice listening, you will improve the skills, but if your goal is to improve your speaking or writing skills, you need not only focus on listening and reading, you also need to speak. Sounds maybe trivial, but you need to practice your speaking and practice writing, that you can implement vocabulary that you learn, you can implement words that you studied. That's why the most important thing, focus not just on listening and reading, but also try to practice speaking and writing. How? A lot of people can ask me, how can I practice speaking? Okay, one of the easiest way of practicing speaking, of course, you can find English tutor. You can also use, for example, Preply or any other platform for studying English and practice it with your English tutor. You can find group classes, it can be cheaper than individual classes. You can find speaking clubs, there are also a lot of free speaking clubs. Okay, you can, for example, practice your writing with ChatGPT. You can text, yes, you can try to implement and incorporate some vocabulary. It can be also a way of practicing your writing, or not speaking, but you can practice your writing, you can practice words, you can practice vocabulary. It's a cool way that you can also ask ChatGPT, correct your mistakes. Ask ChatGPT, please, can you correct my mistakes and explain why? Next way, you can find study buddy. Study buddy, it's also a person who is learning language and you can practice it together. Or you can find a person who is interested in learning your native language and you can help this person with your native language, and on another way, this person can help you with your English or any other language that you are learning. Also, one more way of practicing your speaking, you can speak with yourself. For example, you're learning some vocabulary. If you just learn it, there is no guarantee that you will implement this vocabulary. But you can try to, I don't know, imagine some discussion or some conversation, or even search for some random questions in Google, like, for example, questions for restaurant or phrases, and try to role play the situation, or try to imagine, or try to ask yourself what I think about this topic, and try to put words that you need to implement in front of you and try to use them as many times as it's possible to implement it. Yes, like to remember them, to memorize them. It will help you, first of all, to learn words. Secondly, understand where you can implement them, because some words, some people, know some words, but they know translation, they know meaning, but they don't understand in what context, in what situation they can use it. Next way of practicing speaking, you can also not only talk with yourself, like with some random questions, but you can also search for some textbook with a lot of different questions. Even ChatGPT ask, please, ChatGPT, ask me some questions about this topic, and just like answer these questions. Next, you can also watch video, read short book, I don't know, a short page in a book, and try to not just read it and translate and understand, try to retell it. And when you read this article or book or page, you can highlight some words, not all words, just some words that new for you and you would like to remember. And try to pay attention to these words and try to implement them when you are retelling the story or retelling this video. It will be very helpful for you. And one more important thing, don't focus too much on grammar, because a lot of people are afraid of talking because of fear of making mistake. Yeah, it's important to speak grammarly correctly, but don't overthink about this. Try to practice your fluency. You can also record your speech on video and try to improve it and analyze it. Yes, for example, record it from time to time and pay attention what you said wrong, how could you improve, but don't overthink about this. It's okay to make mistakes. It's normal. First of all, we need to start speaking and try to express our opinion and our thought. And to sum up, what should we do? First of all, don't focus just on watching movies, reading, learning vocabulary. You need also focus on speaking, implementing, and using this information that you learn in your speech, in your writing. How can you do it? Study body, retell some stories on your own, speak with yourself, try to find someone who can speak English with you, and don't overthink too much. And I'm sure you will definitely succeed. Wish you good luck with your studying.